Welcome to Two Nobodies with the Mic. It's in your safe. Great job, 49ers.
The five best players ever in the NBA, Kobe Bryant is not one of them.
Bravo, you can't say anywhere that he doesn't belong in the league. Give me that amount of money, and I'll do whatever you want me to do. Josh Allen will never make the playoffs again.
The SEC is straight trash.
This fool was a crumb up.
Oh, he was in one of those vests? Yeah. What's up, everybody, and welcome to Two Nobodies with the Mic. Episode 90, 10 away from the big 100. Guys, we are here live on YouTube. Please, we are an interactive show, so go ahead and send us your comments, your questions, whatever it is. But we are in the dog days of summer, guys. It's hot. We're in LA. We have a special guest joining us for the whole show. I'll get to him in a second. But this is the last day without football, gentlemen. Can we everyone give a hand for that? I don't care if it's a Hall of Fame game. I don't care, but football is on tomorrow. Oh, yeah, we're watching 100%. Let's get into our introductions. Eddie Money, we're kind of a skeleton crew today. So Eddie Mula, I'm changing his name to Eddie Mula. What do you think? Eddie Mula.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Eddie Money's better, though.
Executive producer, how you doing, Eddie Mula?
Pretty good today. Pretty good.
Yeah. To my right, my oldest son, Hakatomi Plaza. Say hello to the people, Hakatomi. There it is. There it is. And our special guest, Rafa, is out of town, taking a little vacay.
Must be nice.
Mr.
PTO.
Ryan Holmes. We have a real journalist on our show, former Flow Sports, Flow Wrestling, Intermat. Say hello to the beautiful people, Ryan. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Good to be joining you, fellas. Like I told you, anytime you shoot me a text, if I can make it happen, I'm gonna be here.
Dude, he's definitely our utility guy. Always comes in, knows a ton of sports.
DH.
Yeah,
He's our DH.
the big poppy. Let's not, like
this was fantasy. He'd be our flex.
Yes.
Pinch hitter. He's a pinch hitter.
But Ryan, go ahead, give us your handle. What do you got going on right now? I know you have a ton of stuff. You've had some amazing interviews the last month. I feel like. What have you been up to?
Yeah, been interviewing Olympians lately. Had one with Kamal Bey, who's part of Team USA. Greco, who's going to be wrestling next week. Talked to Darian Cruz, who's part of the Puerto Rican wrestling team. I've known Darian since he was like 14, right? We're both from the Lehigh Valley, so had to talk to him because super proud of that kid. And it's one of those things where you try to balance your professional life and your personal life because he's like family to me. Him, his dad are super close, and I love those guys. And then talk to Jamil Kelly about his Olympic experience, and I have another one coming. It's not out just yet. I just interviewed Coleman Scott. So Coleman and we got on, I believe just last week, and we talked about Oklahoma State. We talked about him going to Ohio RTC, and we talked about the financial allegations that were out there. A lot of the people were kind of throwing a little bit of mud at him, and we dug into that too. So be on the lookout for that. It might be out. I think I'm going to release that on Friday. So any wrestling fans, be on the lookout for that one. So yeah, it's been really fun interviewing these guys. And then I also have my Athletes podcast. We discussed one of the topics we're going to discuss today with the new scholarship cap and stuff like that. So that'll be out on Friday as well.
Man, I mean, you just named
Is Ryan the Woj bomb of wrestling?
He might be dropping Woj bombs. I mean, Jamil Kelly, we know personally, just an amazing human being. Obviously, Coleman Scott, we love. When I think of Kamal Bey, I think 2017, 2018 Ironman finals.
That's Stanford, right?
No. You're thinking about Mango. You're thinking about Ryan Mango.
Yeah, you're thinking Mango.
But Ironman finals, I want to say 2018 with Anthony Valencia and Kamal Bey. It looked like a high flying act more than a wrestling. I mean, flying squirrels. I mean, lat drops. I mean, Kamal Bey is exciting. Usually I don't like to watch Greco. I know Coach Pritz always called it rubbing nipples. Go ahead and together. I'll never forget that. But if if you guys get a chance to watch that, Kamal Bey, man, he is high flying, exciting, and it's gonna be some good stuff, man. I'm excited, Ryan. You got some good stuff coming up, man.
Yeah, it was there's been some really good interviews. And like I said, I've known a lot of those guys, specifically Darian and Kamal. I've known them since they were young pups in high school, and just being able to cover them throughout their entire careers, high school to Kamal with international, and then obviously Darian going on to Lehigh, becoming an NCAA champion, and now doing what he's doing. And he hasn't left the Lehigh Valley doing what he's doing. And I was one of the first people that saw him when he came into the tunnel after he won his national championship.
Awesome.
And we had a picture together, and it's like I said, he's just one of those kids that you want to see succeed. And it goes way beyond me being a sports journalist. That kid's like family, so I'd love to see him succeed. We have 4 guys. Speaking of wrestling, we have 4 guys in the Olympics that were NCAA wrestlers that can do very well. So there's 4 medals up for grabs. So maybe all 4 of them get all up on that podium in Paris. That'd be pretty dope.
We are going to talk about that. We will get to Olympic freestyle. I don't know if we have time to do everything, but definitely every weight in freestyle, because 57 is fire, man.
Yeah.
You have Michich, RBY, obviously Spencer Lee, Darian Cruz. I mean, and those are just the guys, that we know. I mean, it's just going to be wild, but we will get into that. I promise you. We are the gambling show of record, guys. Not much going on except for, I don't know if you degenerates are betting on any of you degenerates betting on Olympics.
No, I don't feel like anyone is really.
Not yet.
I don't know anyone that's.
Dude, did you guys see the line on Southern Sudan and
South Sudan.
It was 29 and a half.
They covered, right?
Yeah.
Easy. How does that line get set at 29 and a half after?
Well, it was 43 and a half the first time.
First time, yeah.
So it dropped like 20 points.
And also, for 3/4 of the game, they were winning, and they still were given plus 10 points, along the live line, which is nuts.
Just freaking crazy. But ton of good Olympic stuff to watch. How about women's rugby against Australia? That's a moment that will replay in time forever.
That clip is so badass.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been great. We are in episode 90, and if you guys know what we do, it's we do famous athletes that wore the number of the episode, which is 90. We have some good ones, guys. I hope you're ready.
I think I have one. I could be wrong though. This is off the dome.
Off the dome. Go ahead, man.
DeMarcus Ware, 90?
No, I think he's 95.
No.
DeMarcus Ware is 95. Troy State, right?
I don't think he was 90 though. No.
92? I need to fact check that. I could have swore he was 90 on the Cowboys.
Eddie Mula.
He was 94.
94.
94, there you go.
You're a month early.
Shit.
How about TJ Watt?
I was like, TJ was like,
That's the only one I know, really.
oh, Julius Peppers.
Julius Peppers.
Panthers. He was such a dog on the Panthers.
UNC basketball and freaking football. And he's going into the Hall of Fame this weekend, which we will get into because everyone knows that my wife's like, I told Shanae, I'm like, you know what this weekend is? It's like Hall of Fame induction. She's like, oh, great. You're going to be crying all day.
I don't know.
That's what I said too. I was like, I could care less.
I
couldn't care less.
I don't want to listen to those. I mean, congrats to them and everything, but
Ryan, you don't watch the Hall of Fame speeches?
Very rarely. It depends on who's up there, right? Like I gotta be, I gotta have some sort of fandom to whoever is up there and I really want to hear it.
I have to care about them to actually.
Dude, there's been some bombs. Like I always say, Tony Gonzalez, worst speech I've ever heard. But I
feel like you said that 10
you really, it was so bad. It was so bad.
Pride in knowing that.
But Ray Lewis, amazing speech.
But he's a professional speaker though. That guy.
Yeah, he can.
You're gonna give him props. He fires everybody up.
Yeah, Ray Lewis with the fucking the card deck speech that puts me up.
Oh, he has so many good ones. But you know who had me in tears the whole time, and I can't remember. Running back, not Curtis Conway. Curtis, you played with the Jets in New England.
Smith?
No, Curtis. God, what's his name? Number 28.
Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Martin.
Curtis Martin. If you guys have a chance to Google that speech, oh my God! I was in a kiddie pool of tears I mean, that's how good it was, man. I don't know what it is. I coached youth football, and I would always give a speech at the end. If you guys make it to the Hall of Fame, you better invite me, and you better give a shout out to Coach Santiago. I am still 0-4. No one's made it into the Hall of Fame yet from all my Pop Warner teams.
I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, they could be owners or coaches. I'm still hopeful. I have some kids in college, so. But that being said, 90s. How about Javon Curse?
Javon Curse, yeah, that's who I was gonna say.
The freak.
We're forgetting about Ndamukong Suh as well.
Oh,
that's right.
That's a banger. That's a banger.
That's a good pool.
I just saw a ranking of the top 100 college football players. I don't know what it was on, Rivals or whatever. They
Like
put
all time, or?
all in the last 20 years. They put Sue number 1.
He was insane.
And
He was a monster.
And
He
if
was a
you
monster.
saw him, you would agree. He was.
Has he underachieved or overachieved
in the NFL? I
Because
feel
he's
like
had a long career, but has he ever been?
I think he has a Super Bowl ring with the
Seahawks. No,
No, with Tampa.
Tampa, yeah. Yep.
I wouldn't.
that's
I wouldn't.
right.
You
Does that
know,
count?
he
Mickey
was.
Mouse ring.
He was a lightning rod, right? He got labeled dirty.
well, He
right?
was
He-
stepping on people.
He was doing some dirty shit early on, though.
He had a good career.
I would say.
I would say he achieved well.
I believe that he probably should have won the Heisman. He was that dominant at Nebraska. I remember watching him in the Holiday Bowl in San Diego. He was a wrecking ball.
Dude, I honestly love Javon Curse, though. I'll never forget watching him jump over running backs that tried to cut him and just killing quarterbacks. Like, that dude was a monster.
Yeah. Who came first? Julius Peppers was first, right? I feel like they're out of the same mold.
I couldn't tell you, to be honest.
Yeah, I forget you guys are 13 years old. Crazy.
I think Julius Peppers was first by like barely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
They were
play-
around the same time, though.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it's one thing to play basketball and football, but he played basketball at North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like, and he played. You know, that's how crazy athletic he was. And he's going into the Hall of Fame, another Tar Heel. So excited for that. Neil Smith. Does anyone remember Neil Smith and the Band-Aid? Played for the Chiefs and the Broncos. Another wrecking ball. You guys don't remember him.
No
That's
idea.
No.
Sad. He was the first dude to wear like the nose thing.
Where's that?
Probably because he had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, people usually wear it because you have to breathe right.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
but
it
he
just
was like
helps
the
your,
very first dude to
You
do
can
it.
breathe. People with like
Yeah.
deviated septum will wear them.
Yeah.
I need that shit.
How
Really?
about
Yeah, my shit's all fucked up.
a local kid who on 4th of July,
JPP.
JPP, COC, baby.
All I needed was 4th of July. Yeah.
He played
Local kid.
he played at COC, College of the Canyons.
I didn't know
Oh,
that.
that's right. I
Yeah.
did remember that. I do remember that.
Yeah. JPP also a
Hollywood Brown, COC.
Hollywood Brown.
This
Garbage.
guy knows ball. Whoa. That's some respect.
Anyone
Yeah, come
anyone
on, fuck.
see the highlights of Xavier Worthy today?
No.
Have you seen
Getting beat up.
He's getting pushed around
Pressed
like
off
a,
the line.
like a
Ragdoll.
pinball machine. Listen, I don't wish ill on
But you're
anyone.
wishing on.
But he does play for the Chiefs, and I'm a Raider fan. And I said this. I said, I know John Ross when I see John Ross. And he might be a little slighter than John Ross. The dude looks like he weighs 138 pounds, man.
No, the worst highlights right now are the Quinn Johnson highlights for
Oh,
the Chargers.
man.
The guy can't catch a ball. I mean, that
was bad.
guy's going through it. He has the
That was
yips to like a whole different level.
Well, he had him last year too.
Exactly. He has the
He's-
yips for like a year and a half now. Like,
Yeah. I
well-
think he could switch me up.
At-
I'll put me out there.
At the same
I'm gonna catch
time,
one.
at the same time, have you seen they're hyping up Brendan Rice? Jerry's
I see that.
he's
I also
catching
seen that.
some balls, giggity.
Yeah, but that's why the Chargers are going to be a running team this year. Harbaugh was like, I know what receivers we have. Get us a tailback so I can run the ball.
I think it was the right move to go alt. I said alt was always the pick. Harbaugh, remember at Stanford, Ryan, Harbaugh used to run out there with literally 9 guards and tackles
Yeah.
and have the most complicated scheme on the planet and just run the ball.
That was the worst because it was a
It was
run
the
all the way
best.
and you couldn't stop it. And it was the worst feeling. As an SE fan, it hurt to watch.
The What's Your Deal game.
That's a great game.
You know what the What's Your Deal game is, Ryan?
No, what's that?
When Harbaugh was at Stanford, and I believe the SC was ranked in the top 10.
Yeah, they're ranked.
I think they were ranked
It was
9.
Pete Carroll's last year at SC.
Yes, it was Pete Carroll's last year, and Harbaugh put it to the SC Trojans, and
They went for 2.
They went for 2.
Up like 30.
Oh,
Up
I
like
do.
30.
Yes, and then they like fought.
So they went to the 50-yard line to shake hands,
Oh, the handshake. Yeah.
I know the handshake.
and
Pete Carroll goes,
"What's your deal?"
and then Harbaugh goes,
And
what's your deal?
What's your deal?
Yeah.
It's the What's Your Deal game. I'll never forget that, man. It was freaking great. Those were the days.
Rafa said Eddie has Chiefs hate every week. Come on, man.
It's true. It's true. Hate. I am the president of the Chiefs Hater Club.
And then Justin Holmes says, shout out to the fire sweatshirt, Ryan. It has Holmes across.
Nice.
That's my brother. That's my brother. I actually created this sweatshirt. This is we just released these like a couple weeks ago. So
Dude, that
I saw
is
the corner of my eye. It's
that
pretty
is fire. Go pick one of those up. Ryan, I'm sorry I haven't got Ryan's Two Nobody sweatshirts out yet. I'm a bad person, but go and cop one of these things. They're fire. It's your uncle, correct?
yeah. So there's a picture of him on the back with a signature. It's got Ain't No Stopping Us Now, which is his entrance music on the left sleeve, known for the left jab, and then the design on the front. My one of my best friends created the design, so figured I would bust it out. It's actually the first time that I've put this on. So I didn't know how it was gonna fit, but yeah, I'm glad with how they came out. There's still some available, so just hit me up. We'll get you the details of how you can get one.
How do we cop one of those, man?
Yeah. They're $65. Just like I said, shoot me a DM and I'll get you guys the link to order one from the Heart of a Legend Foundation.
It's just fire. If you guys didn't know, Ryan Holmes is royalty. He in the if the last name sounds familiar, Larry Holmes, heavyweight champion boxer for a very long time, fought everybody. And how long did he hold that title?
I can't remember. I know he tied the record. I can't remember how many years it was. Since my brother lived it more than I did, and he's in the chat, he can probably tell you. I can't remember the exact amount of years, but yeah, I remember him tying the record.
I mean, if you guys, I'm 51, so the biggest
7 years. 7 years. My brother just put it in there.
Like the biggest and baddest dude on the planet back then was the heavyweight champion in boxing. Like that was the greatest event. I feel like, from the 1940s on, like that was the biggest ticket. And you were the baddest man on the planet. And
heavyweight boxing was so dope back in the day, and like being able to live it, at least, for the small portion I was able to be front row for it was amazing, man. It was so awesome.
Yeah.
You watch these heavyweights today, and a lot of these guys are just sluggers. They're not actual boxers anymore. And
1,000%.
So
I watch. It feels like
it's tough. I wouldn't say it's tough to watch, but it's not. I mean, maybe because I was so close to it, it was way more fun for me. But no, that's why I wanted to watch the Olympic boxing, because that's like true boxing, because it's point scoring boxing.
Yes.
They said Manny Pacquiao tried to be in the Olympics this year.
No,
but the age cutoff, he's 45. In boxing, you can't be over 42 in Olympic boxing. So if he was 42, we would have seen Manny Pacquiao in the Olympics this year, because he tried to essentially come out of retirement and get in on all of it.
Get off the basketball court.
He would have won probably too.
Oh, dude, Manny, where do you put Manny in? I put him on the Mount Rushmore. I think he's top
Manny
5.
was amazing, man. Manny was amazing. I loved watching Manny. His training was just different. The way he fought was just different. The speed was incredible. So I always loved watching Manny, because he was an entertainer too. Great footwork, great hand speed. I feel like Manny had it all, and I feel like he's definitely one of those top 5 boxers.
And fought everybody. Everybody. If you guys don't remember, Larry Holmes' jab was like a redwood. It was like something like I don't think I've ever seen a jab since your uncle's freaking jab, man. It was just unbelievable. But yeah, go ahead and cop one of those. Those sweatshirts are fire, man. And go ahead and give shout out Ryan. Hit his DMs and he'll He'll let you know how to get one of those. You know what I noticed in boxing? No headgear. Did you notice that?
Yeah, not anymore. They used to have headgear. I think it might have been 2016 or 2012 was like the last time that they had headgear in
Really?
Olympic boxing. So it's fairly recent, I think, that they've gotten rid of the headgear, but I love it. I think it's great. The women still have headgear on their side, but the men don't. And I think it's great because I mean, I feel like you're having, if you look at the Olympics, there's way more professional athletes that, and they're not amateurs anymore. You know, as much as they used to say that it's an amateur sports tournament. They're not amateurs anymore, right? These people are making a good amount of money. At least they should be making a good amount of money. But they're representing the delegations and they're professional athletes now. You know, it's very different. And, you know, obviously we'll get into basketball, but until 92, there was no professionals even on the basketball team because they wanted it to be amateur. And then the US got tired of losing and they were like, yeah, we need professionals in here.
Bring out the big guns.
Yeah. So yeah, but no, I think it's awesome that they're professionalizing what used to be the biggest amateur display of sports ever in sports.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys saw this Uncle Shay's podcast with Chad Johnson. Why are you guys laughing?
So like
that podcast is honestly the best podcast I've ever watched in my life.
I guess it's hilarious.
So funny.
But did you see? Because like it reminds me of like what you said, Ryan. In other countries, like if you go to the Olympics, you are taken care of. They give you land, and horses, and stables. It's not like here in the U.S. And they were going over what you make if you win a gold medal here in the United States, and they said like $37,000.
Yeah, 37.5 is what you get for gold. Simone Biles 37.5.
I mean, and for being, you know, one of the richest countries in the world, you know, it seems like they would compensate.
We'd have to give away a lot though.
But like,
I mean,
right now we're not even in the top 5.
We're not in the top for gold medals right now. We are leading the medal count in general, but we don't have the most golds.
Yeah,
so for basketball, do you have to pay every single guy 375 or just the whole team?
I guarantee you the basketball guys say no. I dropped that on the way over to the bus.
I'm pretty sure I'm taking an extra 35.
LeBron's taking that money. I'm telling you right now, LeBron.
Yeah, it's 37.5 to every basketball player. Like all the gymnastics girls, 37.5 to all 5 of them, right? But like,
my God,
I've seen LeBron spend 37.5 on a bottle of Petrus. But what I was getting to was that Shannon Sharp and notoriously cheap Chad Johnson said they would give 25 each to on top of that.
To who?
To the gold USA gold medal winner.
To Noah Lyles. Just to Noah Lyles, the track runner.
Oh, okay. I was like, Chad, what, dude?
Well, there's no way they're paying every gold medal.
That's what yeah. Okay, I'm glad you cleared that up.
To Noah Lyles.
Is he like a certified that he should win this 100%?
He should, yeah. He won the 100 and the 200 in at Worlds. What was that, last year? So he is certified the fastest man in the world right now, and he is the favorite to win. So that's why they were like, Noah Lyles deserves more than the $37,500 that he would make on gold medals. So they said Noah Lyles. It might be others. It might be, you know, they might give it to Sha'Carri as well. They might, you know, hit some of these different athletes with it. But yeah, that's all they make. Is to other countries, some countries make almost $1 million for gold medals. It's insane.
Some countries they give apartments.
Yeah, like
I wasn't joking about horses and stables and land.
I think money, go move somewhere, get good at a sport, and then just win.
I'll go to the most niche sport, like the most random.
Handball. You'd be good at handball.
I'd be a fucking beast in handball.
I've watched, dude. It's pretty physical, man. It's pretty cool to watch too.
Yeah, I think Dagestan, if you're a gold, they give you a 3-bedroom apartment, silver 2-bedroom, and then you're bronze, you get a 1-bedroom apartment.
Dude,
I think it was Dagestan. It might be a different country, but.
Well, yeah,
that's crazy.
Those wrestlers, when they win like gold medals, like was it Sadulayev got like cattle the one year? They gave him like a Mercedes. They gave him like a bunch of land. Like same thing happened with Khabib. When Khabib won the UFC title, they hooked him up with a ton. So yeah, they make sure that people are paid out when it comes to winning those medals and everything else. But then the rugby women's team, they got after winning, they got a $4 million donor that said they're going to give them $4 million to help them progress for like the next Olympics.
Wait, for the U.S. team?
U.S. team, yeah, the U.S. team, they won bronze, and they were like, maybe now we'll get support, because they felt like if they didn't win a medal that they were going to get cut completely. They weren't have a U.S. team anymore, and they won bronze. It's the first time they ever won a medal in United States women's rugby, and now they're going to have a donor give them like $4 million towards
awesome,
like the next Olympics and everything.
That clip is so badass.
Yeah.
She takes off.
It's just
it's so badass. I felt so American watching that shit.
Shanae said China pays over 700,000.
Jeez.
In yen, baby.
Damn.
Yes. But wrestling does that. Wrestling has a private group. Do they not, Mr. Holmes? Like, if you, I believe it is, if you win a gold in wrestling, there's a group of rich businessmen that support wrestling, and I think you get $250,000. Was it? Do they still do that? Do you know?
Yeah, they do. It's called the Living the Dream Fund, and if you win a medal, I think if you win gold, I think it's like 500,000. It might be 250. You might be right about $250,000, but like everybody, it's tiered, just like gold, silver, bronze, winning any sort of money. But yeah, I think it's like it's at least 250K that you win for a gold medal.
The reason I remember is because Jordan Burroughs won it in London, right? And in Rio, he was going to make 500. Like if you win 2 in a row, they doubled it.
They're going to double it.
And oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, that one was rough.
That Rio was tough.
Yeah, that was tough to watch.
But yeah, man, if you guys have any questions or anything you want to ask Ryan about, we're gonna get into wrestling. Let's hop into your fired real quick.
Oh shit, totally forgot.
Yeah, I forgot. He said an hour. It's not gonna go in.
And let me start off with this. And this is the obvious thing. And on this show, we try extremely hard to steer away from religion and politics and just stuff like that, because we want to be a sports show.
I don't think we do.
Well, I try.
you try.
I
sure
try.
He says that because now he's about to get into it.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to get into the obvious firing is a guy named Thomas Jolly, and he was the director or the creator of the opening ceremonies. It's been the big story. It's kind of really been just a black eye on this whole Olympics. We all know the scene that looked like, there's so many excuses and stuff like that. But I mean, literally the Last Supper with Da Vinci is probably like the second most famous, painting in history, I would say, right? I mean, you have the Mona Lisa and that one, and people can say what they want, but it really looked just like, the scene of the Last Supper. And disappointed, extremely disappointed. People are offended. I get it. But the reason I bring it up is because it's really, like I said earlier, I love the Olympics. And people are boycotting it, and all these Americans and people all over the world have trained so hard for this one moment, and for something like that to really just put a whole, just throw everything into a spiral, just pisses me off. You guys don't have to talk about it, but I felt like I wasn't just gonna skip over it, and it just bummed me out, man. And I hope in 2028 we can keep things on the level. Respect these Olympians, all of them, by the way. I know Ethan Ramos, who Ryan, UNC, a wrestler, wrestles for Puerto Rico, one of my son's teammates, 86 kilos. He came out today on his story, and they're secluded. They're in a hotel. They don't see much. They're obviously on the boats. And he heard about it, and he just came out today and says, you know what, I'm a Christian athlete. I don't condone what happened, but at the same time, I love those people. I hope they find, Christ and whatever. If you go look at it, it was just an amazing speech. And he said, the goal for him is to win gold, obviously, but to represent himself as a man and as a Christian man. And I saw that and I kind of felt for all these athletes that are being overshadowed by something that didn't have to be done. So that's my firing. Thomas Jolly, I don't care what you say, man. I know they try to say it's this Greek god. I did research. I've seen a bunch of paintings. That shit looked like the Last Supper to me. I don't know how you get around that. So that's my firing. Eddie Money, you got anything? Or does anyone have anything to say on it? I know it's kind of controversial.
I just think I noticed that it was the only thing that like on main social medias that wasn't being posted about the Olympics. You know how like every single thing from the Olympics is like posted usually. That was like the only thing not posted. Like SportsCenter, ESPN, all those big like Instagram accounts that post basically everything that happens.
Yeah,
that was the only thing that haven't posted.
Of course.
Like I saw Andrew Alvarez, who he Pat Downey, he hashtag like shame on USA Wrestling for being there. It's like, how is it their fault? Like
they had no idea.
They had no idea, and how'd you expect? I get being disrespected, I was raised Catholic since, baptized. I get being upset and being disrespected, but at the same time, these athletes have trained almost their entire lives for this. And I can understand, like, don't let that moment define you. Rise above it, show what kind of class you have and that stuff. I would never ask somebody, oh, you're not a real follower of Christ if you don't, if you're competing in it now. It just seems really unfair and pisses me off that people would go down that route.
All I'll say is if you're boycotting watching because of like 2% that you didn't like the Olympics is as much as it's about the opening ceremony, everybody wants to see it. It's, there's so much fanfare, everything else. It's about the athletes. So that means you were looking for any reason not to watch it in the first place, right? Like I'm watching for the athletes. I'm not waking up at 4:00 in the morning. Was that next Monday to watch the opening ceremonies? I'm waking up to watch the wrestling.
Yes.
That's when it's happening. So, I'm not going to let 2% of a weeks long event stop me from watching the rest of it, no matter how religious I am or how religious I'm not. Like it was a portion of it. It happened. There's a lot of stuff in the world that happens that I don't like. I'm not going to let it ruin my day.
Ah, man. Well said. I wish.
Beautifully said.
True journalism. Right
I was going to say, only if I was a journalist, I could say it as nice as Mr. Holmes over here.
Shit, that was great.
Clip that shit. Eddie Money.
I'm actually gonna fire the Raiders.
Oh, breaks my heart. But
why the fuck do we need that puppet? Why do they need to go around camp with that puppet?
Hold on. Let me say something real quick. I understand it's not a good look, but I think it's good for just the rivalry. Like it makes it more like it just makes it more interesting to me. Like I love that they hate us and we hate them. I love that part of it. I get it's gonna suck when they kills by 50 points. But I love the fact that here's like, yeah, fuck this team. Like, I love that part of it.
But here's the thing: you got to put it in context. Now, there was a fan. If you see the whole thing, I'm here. There was a fan. Because in between sessions, people go and a fan brought that.
Yes, we know that, but the players still
grab it and
it's
give
just,
attention to
that's a social media thing, man. You got to know there's cameras on you.
Yeah, that's all
the
they should have
time.
known better. But it's hilarious.
I get like the rivalry is amazing. I love the rivalry, but it's like he's already the best player in the league, and you don't need to give him even more of an edge to like hate you and actually really.
The funniest shit in the world was when they clipped it and then they replayed his voice, talking about it. It sounds just like Kermit the Frog.
That was so funny.
Oh, that was good stuff. No, I mean, think about now you have to put that game in prime time. Do you not?
I feel like it already was. I
think it is.
Yeah, because of the last one ended.
Well, now can you imagine the go if you want to make some money right now?
Oh yeah,
go to Las Vegas, start sewing some Kermit.
Yeah,
the frog hand puppets. Everyone in that stadium is gonna have some Kermit that, and hopefully we don't get embarrassed.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
Go to a Chinese distributor, buy like 500 of them, and just wait outside Allegiant Stadium.
Oh my God! What's your thoughts on that, Ryan?
I don't think it's a rivalry. You said it's a rivalry. How's it a rivalry? It's like He's like 15-2 against the Raiders lifetime. Where's the rivalry?
God,
Oh, so then the Broncos and Raiders aren't a rivalry then either, right?
No.
Okay.
well,
Well, he
listen.
thinks
I always tell my family, life is a big circle. I mean, the circle's a little bit bigger for the Raiders. We will eventually come around, and they can't be great forever. By the way, I hope not. At
I'll
least
say that Patriots are good for a long time.
Yeah, good point.
The Raiders were good for a while, so you're right about that.
Yeah,
Can't be good forever.
yeah. Fucking Tommy Plaza.
I have 2 firings.
Oh, let it ride.
Yeah. The first one, I want to fire all the Caleb Williams haters preseason. Even last year saying he's not this, he's not that, he's not gonna do shit in the NFL. I'm telling you right now, he's gonna be amazing. This first year,
He hasn't done shit in the NFL.
Okay, that's fine. But you say he's not going to do shit.
I haven't said that.
You 100% said that many times.
So you're firing him, apparently?
I'm firing him. He knows I'm firing him. But also, people that also have said this, like on Twitter and all that, he paints his nails. Who gives a shit? This guy can play football and he's gonna be great. It's just a fact. I'll put it on a lot of things. That man's gonna be an amazing
I
player.
have never questioned his ability. I think he has incredible ability. I want to see him go through some adversity, rise above it, be a leader, and see if he can adjust.
He's gonna do it. I'm telling you right now.
Okay,
He's gonna be great.
Your thoughts, Ryan?
On Caleb? I think he's gonna be great. I could care less if he paints his nails. I don't care.
I don't care either.
I could care less, but I think he's gonna do well. But I don't think he's gonna have the CJ Stroud effect on the Bears. That I don't think that's gonna happen. Like I think that what CJ Stroud did last year isn't gonna happen with Caleb Williams this year. It's gonna take a little bit more.
I mean, think about Stroud made 3 receivers that really Nico Collins,
Tank Dell,
Beast,
and who else? I mean,
they had Dalton Schultz too.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, but they were considered maybe middle tier to lower tier, and he raised their game. Caleb going in with DJ Moore, Rome,
Keenan Allen,
and Keenan Allen. I mean,
and still have a good tight end too.
And a good. I mean,
bro has 3 1s.
dude,
they got to protect him. They got to keep him upright.
And that was their big issue last year. Horrible offensive line.
Justin Fields wasn't staying on his feet. So if they can't keep him upright, it doesn't matter how good he is. You can't throw the ball from your back.
Doesn't matter.
By the way, CJ Stroud ranked top 20.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was number 20 last year, top 100 players.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous.
Voted by the players though.
Yeah, I know that. And that's why I'm like, why would they vote it? Like, it makes no sense. Why is he 20?
There's a ton of discrepancy
Glazers
in that 100 list. To put Aaron Rodgers in that 100 list was just
it was like 96 or
92.
something like that.
There's a ton of and it's voted by the players. So
Devontae Adams at 40 is disrespectful.
Agreed.
Devontae Adams is the top 5 receiver in the game, and even receivers will tell you that even today he's top 5. And he got ranked 40.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Agree.
Oh, okay.
So he also did me well in fantasy still.
And my second firing is I want to fire the UFC fighters. I feel like the last 2-3 cards have not been great, and even Dana has bumped up these bonuses
to $100,000, right?
Yeah, and he's been pissed. He's like, yeah, I bumped them up, and like no more. Like I'm done doing that. These fighters, they didn't do anything. None of these fighters are fighting harder. It's like, yeah, they want to win, but at some point, it's entertainment at the same time. You want to be an entertaining fighter, and some of these fights lately have been just a snooze fest. It's been hard to watch. I hope it can change, but
is that the fight? Listen, I get what you're saying. That's what I love about UFC. It's not Dana has the power to be like, you're boring. I'm not giving you that match. But when you see a Division I wrestler or a world-class wrestler go against Muay Thai, is it their fault that they're going to take you down and just control you? Or is it the other guy's fault for not having the skill or the takedown defense or the ability to get up?
No, I agree, but like even when they're down there, they're not attempting to finish the fight. There's no attempt to submit. There's no attempt to do anything. It's more just control the fight, control the top. Like even in wrestling, they stopped doing that. Like they put in rules for wrestlers to you can't just sit there on top and do nothing. You have to eventually work to get somewhere.
Amen.
And a lot of these fighters are just sitting down there, just hoping to gain control for most of these rounds and win on points. At some point, it's like it's hard to watch. It's been hard to watch for a while now. So hopefully, I mean, they can do something about it.
Firing taken. Can I hire somebody before Ryan goes? I want to hire Snoop Dogg. Snoop
That's a
Dogg
valid hiring.
he was at, I think, women's volleyball today. He was at gymnastics. The guy, I mean,
He's everywhere.
Doing it all.
is the equivalent of a bald eagle at this point. Like he is, to do what he's done, to come from Long Beach, which is 12 minutes down the road from the hood, gangs and Long Beach Poly, and to become the icon and to keep just the relevancy that he has. I think it's freaking incredible, man. And I made a joke last week. I said, do we really want to give him the torch? Is he going to light up a hooter? But he's been completely respectful. He's been sitting with parents. He's like the Pope of the United States now. It's crazy to me. So I want to give a big shout out to
Snoop D-O-double-G.
and hire his ass as the ambassador of the Olympics. Who knew?
Him and Flava Flav have been doing an incredible job.
Yes.
Captain America, still to go.
Ryan, you have a promotion? Any firings?
There's actually an exclusive Snoop Dogg pin.
I saw that, and I want that.
It's insane.
Where he's blowing rings, but the Olympic rings.
It's the Olympic rings.
I gotta get that pin.
That's pretty dope. So I'm not a gamer. I don't even own a video game console. I haven't owned a video game console since I was like 18.
I hope I know where this is going.
That's why he's in such good shape.
However, I am going to fire the Madden rankings nerds that made Bijan Robinson an 82 and only dropped Nick Chubb 1 point after Nick Chubb was in 2 games last year.
Yes.
So yeah, I think we need to look at these Madden rankings this year. Because like I said, I'm not a gamer, but I read articles. I stay in touch with that side of things. And Bijan Robinson being an 82 is absolutely insane. So yeah, there is some Falcons bias in there, but Nick Chubb being a 96 after he's 97 last year is absolutely insane.
Well said. I had to agree with that.
To be fair, you can't really you can't really move Nick Chubb really that much because he didn't play.
But that's kind of his point.
But he's coming off an injury.
It still bumped him down one.
Bump his injury down
one.
Yeah, no, Bijan.
One.
I think he's gonna have a big issue was Arthur Smith not giving him the dang ball, man.
That shit was getting annoying, bro. I have a fantasy, and I'm like, dude, this guy's playing carries with who's the backup?
Algiers or
Algier.
He's serviceable, but he's winning carries. Like
you picked him for a reason, man.
Yeah, I'm excited about what I'm seeing with the Falcons right now from training camp and everything else. I mean, like we had the show before. I love Raheem Morris. He's the coach that I wanted. He's put together an incredible staff. I think the offense is going to look really good. He's a defensive guy. Not mad at their draft whatsoever. So hopefully things go the way that we have discussed in the past. But yeah, I like the excitement. And they just sold out. Falcons just sold out season tickets. So there's excitement in Atlanta right now for the first time in years.
Big Kirko does.
You called it. The schedule is just incredible for them. It's definitely, I think, the easiest schedule. It's laid out very nicely.
It starts out pretty tough, but then it definitely tapers off. And if you need a game late in the season, if you do have a subpar nine win season where they're slated to be at, if you need another game in there, you can definitely get them on the back end of the season. So, but I like the schedule. I think they're going to do really well, and I'm optimistic this year. Normally I'm not. I'm like, what the hell is going to happen? Arthur Smith can't coach his way out of a wet paper bag. So we'll see what happens.
We will see. I have
Shanae said Snoop Dogg for vice president.
There you go, man. I'll elevate him to president, man. I got one more, and I don't know how this is going to go over because I saw this today. Because I'm usually a huge fan of Deion Sanders, but I saw some today where they're Colorado's. They're on their 7-7s, and every player had their Instagram handle on the back.
He's been doing that forever.
Really?
Yeah, forever.
First time I saw it, and to me, it's not the message that I would want to send.
What's the message that you're sending? What's so bad about it?
You're playing for the name on the back instead of the front.
It's a practice jersey.
Nah, it's more than
Exactly. Like that's why it
Y'all
seems
haters, man. I
hate.
Also,
hate.
like, what's the point of putting your handle on the back of a practice jersey in the first place?
well, because there's gonna be clips, and if people want to see, like, oh, this player's good, I want to see what he's on Instagram. I think
Because it's all about marketing.
Yeah, 100%. That's what it is. You have to come on, be better than that.
Okay, the marketing thing I get. Listen, I am the old man. Get off my lawn.
You are. You've been for a while now. It's time to move on.
So wait. I have a question then. I have a question. Since you don't like the handles on the back of the jersey, how do you feel about the letters he puts on the front where his captain doesn't get a C, it gets an L for leader?
And then D for dog.
D for dog.
I dig those. I dig those. Those I'm all in. I just it's just I'm Clint Eastwood in
it's time to get the times. It's like 2024.
Get off
Seas.
Get off my lawn, damn it. So that is you're fired. Let's get into right away. And this is one of the reasons that we brought Ryan on the show is that he saw our Caitlin Clark clip.
Shaking my head at this one.
Yeah,
I'm on his side, by the way. I tried to say this not on the show, but to other people.
I said this on the show, by the way, and no one acknowledged me.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
That's bullshit. I'll run it back.
Play the tape.
Listen, I'll go over my take, and Rafa was very outspoken. Rafa even wished them to lose.
Really un-American by Rafa.
Very un-American. But my point is I feel like there is some animosity, or like she doesn't deserve it. And to me, like I said, I won't say it again, but it seemed like out of spite. Like do you not think she has the skill to be on this team? Deanna Taurasi is going for her like 6th gold medal, Ryan.
She deserves that opportunity.
It's time to, like, how many do you need?
So if LeBron is 44 the next year, are you not putting him on?
Why is it different?
Why is that different?
Is Deanna Taurasi top, like, 3 in the league? I don't think so.
But she's one of the best players
She's
like,
on
of all
the
time.
Decline. She's on. Pass the torch.
If LeBron is still on decline, I'm still putting her on that team for
pass the
leadership.
torch.
She will.
It's a bad take.
And what, in 4 years? The Olympics only comes 4 years, Ryan.
She's like 19 years old.
Did you see the stat where she has more assists than
72.6% of the WNBA. Yeah. I love my goat.
Go ahead, right now. The floor is yours. Let us have it.
You just brought up Deion Sanders, right? You said something about Deion, and no, bring him back up. I don't want to see me. I'm gonna go Stephen A on this. Bring all of us up. I need faces on this. I just see myself right now. I need faces on this. You just talked about Deion, right? And you said things that Deion has done or said. You agree with him? Don't agree with him? Here's a quote from Deion: "You do not compare a moment to a monument," and that's what you're doing with Caitlin Clark and Diana Taurasi right now. Diana Taurasi has championships on top of championships on top of championships. The reason Diana Taurasi made the Olympic team coming out is because that coach wanted her on the team. She was coming off of another championship. So that's why she made the team. And I read an article where he says, I just want her to be a rookie. I have all the vets on the team. I need youth. And that's why she was brought on the team. Also, there is a process to these things, and it takes 3 damn years. It's not like they just picked the team. They were like, let's see who we like to be on the team this year. And they were like, no, we don't like Caitlin Clark because everyone is saying that Caitlin Clark needs this and needs that. No, they've been doing this for 3 years. There were multiple training camps that started in 2022. They went overseas and played exhibition games. Every single person that was selected has been playing for Team USA for 3 years. And there were multiple cuts on this team. So, like, it wasn't that it was something against Caitlin Clark, but she was in the Final Four. She was in the playoffs and March Madness when a lot of this stuff was going on. So it was out of her control. But like I said, when I texted you, I said, this would be equivalent to just putting David Taylor on the team because he's the most marketable athlete. The day before the trials, David Taylor it came out that he signed a Nike deal. then it would have been like, all right, well, he's the only one that has a Nike deal and he's got all this big ass marketing. Let's slap him on the team. That's the same shit that would happen if you did that with Caitlin Clark. I'm not saying she doesn't have the skills, and I'm not saying that she wouldn't deserve it. I'm saying that there is a process to this. And if we're going to go and say that the people that deserve to be on teams deserve to be there for a reason and not just their marketability, then that's going to be my take. But I think she would be fine. And I think, what was your other one? You said, oh, then why was Christian Laettner on the 92 team? Yeah. Christian Laettner was on the 92 team because they left a spot for a college player. He was the wooden player and he was back-to-back, and he had just won back-to-back titles. Yeah. Caitlin Clark is coming off back-to-back losses of a title. So,
but there's
no equivalency there.
But there's no college spot for her. So like,
and there's no college spot either. So like, that's the other thing. They literally left a spot for a college player, and not for nothing, but when you look at it, it should have been Alonzo Mourning or Shaquille O'Neal that got that spot, and they gave it to Laettner because at that point he had the buzz, just like Caitlin Clark has the buzz. And now when you look back at it, he didn't even play. He doesn't even put his Olympic gold medal up. He doesn't even say that he was really part of the team, even though he was in pictures. He's like, I didn't do anything. Averaged like 4 points.
Jason Tatum
Clark, you'd have to play through her. She would be somebody that demands the ball. Christian Laettner doesn't demand the ball. That's the bigger difference. So yes, there's politics that are part of it, but also she wasn't part of the three-year process. So like, I know it sounds like I'm hating on Caitlin Clark. I think she's a phenomenal player. But just because she's the shiny new toy doesn't mean that she should get literally every perk that everybody thinks she should get. Some shit just needs to be earned, like championship titles, which I'm sorry, but she didn't earn like basically every other person on that team. But like, who else would you put her on the team above? Not Taurasi.
You know what? Create an extra spot. The David Taylor thing, to me, there's a single individual. They could have put her on the team. They would have got more eyes. Listen, the WNBA is struggling for revenue.
But it's not about the WNBA. It's about the Olympics.
But I think it brings more eyes. Was Michael Jordan not about, Michael Jordan going that dream team,
was because they were getting their ass kicked in the Olympics.
But they also created a buzz around the world. And now look at the NBA now.
The reason that created a buzz is because nobody had seen those players play together ever. Yeah. That's why they're the dream team, because it was only something you would see in your dreams to have those guys play together. Caitlin Clark has multiple years. She will be on the team in 2028. There's nowhere, like I'm telling you right now, she will be at the top of the damn list when that list comes out. But she hasn't played in an international game since 2021. It is a completely different style of play on both the men's and women's side. And we saw that when LeBron tried to run through, one of the Serbian players in the first game, and they called an offensive foul on LeBron, where in the NBA, he gets that foul every single time. It's a different style of play in the Olympics. It's not about eyes, even though everybody that said that they were boycotting watching the Olympics, NBC had record numbers for the Olympics anyway. So like, let's stop the grandstanding. It's not about marketing. It's not about eyes. It's about gold medals, and it's about the people that have sacrificed for years to be on the team. But like I said, she is a phenomenal player. I'm not trying to take anything away. I'm talking specifically about process and how all this shit needs to go. I don't care who it was. Even if they said that Angel Reese was snubbed, and right now she's leading the WNBA in double doubles and broke records too. I don't care who it is. She wasn't part of the process, so you're left out. Sorry.
By the way, those are the fakest double doubles ever, Ryan.
They are, but still, he's got them.
Giggity.
But even the girl, because even people always say, "Oh, Caitlin Clark beat the Olympic team in the All-Star game." Well,
they lost in 2021 too.
Yeah, that happened last time.
Exactly. Not only that too, but she had 4 points, 10 assists. That's fine. The girl who really beat them had 34 points, and she's not on the Olympic team.
Yeah. So Arika Ogunbowale had 34 points in the second half.
34 points in the second half, and people are leaving her out of the topic, like
the equation.
She beat them more than Caitlin Clark did. But people say, "Oh, Caitlin Clark beat that team." No, she didn't. That's not how that went down.
She's just a headlining name for that game.
Exactly.
I listen. You make a ton of amazing points. I think if I was in charge, I would make the adjustment. For eyes, I know there's due process, but specifically for more eyeballs to help grow the game. That's all. That's all I'm saying. But
if I went through a 3-year process to be on this team, I sacrificed being home with my family. I took international trips. I was part of multiple training camps, and then you put the popular girl on the squad.
Last second.
Y'all thought that they were going after her before.
Good point.
You know what would happen. Like, and the thing is that's nothing that we haven't seen in basketball. The rookie always gets his ass kicked all the time.
True.
It always happens. Football, same thing at every single level. There's freshman hazing at every single level. So I don't want to hear it. Nobody's going after her. They're giving her a rude awakening. Like Diana Taurasi said, it's going to be an adjustment. Just like any other sport, there is an adjustment period. It's why there are players that go from championship teams in college to the worst football teams in the NFL, and they don't always pan out in those first couple of years. Peyton Manning led the league in freaking interceptions that first year.
Sure did.
So there's growing pains, people. It happens. She's not the first person to ever get her ass kicked in her rookie year, and she's not going to be the last. But if you would have put her on that team, you would have saw some ass kicking. There would have been some real pissed off people.
Only people.
Ryan's fired up.
Ryan's fired up.
He's fucking hot today.
Yes.
That guy's 4 for 4 right now.
If Rafa was here, he'd be fucking yelling.
Oh yeah.
I know. I need Rafa. I need some Rafa yelling in my life.
Yes.
The only person I don't like seeing on the women's league team is Brittany Griner. It's because we had to fucking sail, make that stupid ass trade,
we had to,
and now she gets to represent our
we had
country.
to give like the minister's death
Yeah,
Like
we had
the-
a first round draft pick to fucking get her back.
for the Grim Reaper.
Yeah,
Well, that is why originally got a hold of me. Great points. But let's go into. Should we go into Olympic wrestling? You want to do the Olympic wrestling? You want to go into Hall of Fame, or you want to go to NCAA guidelines? I feel like that's going to be just. I don't know if you could even straighten that out for us, Ryan.
I was just talking about the NCAA guys. That was our topic on our show for athletes to athletes this week. So that'll be out on Friday, but we can go into that. That is, there's good, bad, and ugly in there. You know, when you text me, you were like, I feel like this is a good thing. And I'm like, depends on what side of the table you're on, right? Like revenue sharing is going to change a ton off the field for football, right? Like football is going to still be football. The rich are still going to spend money. They're still going to do the things that they do. It's not going to change anything. Just like NIL hasn't truly changed anything. What has it changed on the field? If it really has changed anything, then Arch Manning would be the starting quarterback.
Yeah, the money crosses over the table instead of under the table.
Exactly.
That's all it's really changed.
That's the only thing that it's changed, right? So, no, I don't see the rev share changing things in that aspect, but the roster caps, it's going to change funding.
Yeah.
And the good will be now you have, a ton of really amazing athletes on more teams. I mean, Phil Knight already said that Oregon has unlimited NIL to do whatever the hell they want, which is insane.
Nuts.
But like the roster caps are going to kind of put walk-ons
Out of
business a little bit, but not so much, right? Like the only way that you get roster caps is if you opt into the rev share. If you opt into the rev share, then you get a roster cap of 105 because they need to know how much money they're truly going to be spending. That's why you get roster caps, because they're like, okay, we're accounting for up to 105 scholarships, and these scholarship players are going to get rev share, and it's going to be up to 22% of the revenue that's coming in. So they need to know like hard dollar figures. Because if you think about it, the NCAA is all about the money, and it's a line item for them, and that's really what it's about. So
let's go a step back real quick. Let the people know what exactly we're talking about. The NCAA just came out with a whole new scholarship and roster cap guideline for 2025, I believe it is, correct?
Yeah, 25-26. Yep.
And specifically just because my son wrestles for UNC, you're heavily involved, but this goes down the board, and we have a list. Like women's tumbling had 14 scholarships, right?
Yeah.
Their new limit is 55 scholarships now. That's an increase of 41 scholarships. To me, that's crazy insane. Baseball, they had 11.7, now 34. That's more than
34.
double. It's crazy. But even football had 85 scholarships, and they're jumping up to 105. You said something interesting, which I didn't know. This is why we wanted to talk to you, is that you don't have to opt into this. This is a revenue sharing. Universities have the ability not to do this.
Yeah. So
I
it
didn't-
always it all comes down to funding, right? So like if you're a non-power 4, I won't even call it a power 5 anymore. If
Yeah.
you're a non-power 4 school, you're not going to want to opt into revenue share because the money you make, it props up the rest of your administration. You're not
Yeah.
going to be able to spend money on your athletes as well as your administration. You'll be down to one athletic director and his or her assistant, right? Like you won't have anybody in your administration. So there's going to be schools that just can't afford to do it because, like I said, it's going to come down to, how much money they can truly spend. But your Penn States, your Alabamas, your Georgia, Florida State, those schools are going to be like, yeah, we're in on the rev share. We want our players to be paid. We want to make sure that we have more scholarships, but you don't have to fill that 105. Like baseball 34, you don't have to fill that 34. You can still save the third. You can save a little bit and say, I'm not going to give all 34 and save it for walk-ons that can then eventually earn a spot onto the team.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and then wrestling specifically, they go up to 30. They had 9.9 in men's wrestling and 10 in women's wrestling. Both of those are going up to 30 because what you do on the men's side, you have to do on the women's side because of Title IX. So with that 30, there are certain schools that have way more than 30. I mean, Oregon State has 42 on their roster.
I talked to Sonny. Sonny said he has 43 guys. And I told him, well, yeah, I hope you make the team next year because now there's 30. Now,
and that's the thing. He goes to a school that's most likely going to opt into the rev share because they have big sports, basketball, football, or big time sports for UNC. So they're probably going to opt in, which means that those schools that opt in, they're going to have to make cuts to
it's
their
a hard cap 30,
hard cap of 30. Because now they're getting paid. So they need to know how much. It's going to be run like any other business, right? Like we know what the salaries are for every single person in our business if we're running a business. So that's how things are going to change if they opt into it. If they don't opt into it, if the school doesn't opt in, and you can't just opt in certain sports. From my understanding, that can be, don't quote me on that, but from my understanding, it's either your entire school opts in or not. So you might have to have some cuts and you might have to, take some people off the team if you're one of those schools that are opting in, and that's how things are going to change. So donor money is going to be even bigger than what it was with these NIL collectives, because now you're going to be a little bit more worried about the money that is coming out of the administration because of where it's going to go. It has to go somewhere. So if somebody is coming in as a wrestling donor, then they're going to say, all right, I want this specifically to go to wrestling, or I want this specifically to go to gymnastics. That's going to help to keep those sports in those schools. But if funding gets out of hand, the Olympic sports, they're on the chopping block because they're not bringing money in. They're taking money out. So Olympic sports are usually the ones that they're going to get rid of in that regard. I mean, you remember a couple of years ago when Stanford was going to be getting rid of wrestling and a couple other sports. And they were like, well, how are you getting rid of wrestling and these other sports where these sports are endowed right now? Like there's
biggest endowment
of dollars.
It's like billions, right?
Yeah, like crazy endowments. So that's why that didn't really work out. And the pushback and stuff. And they were like, oh, we found, some money in our couch, which it's the dumbest excuse ever. The sports are endowed, but like, yeah, I mean, these roster caps, they're going to change a lot of things for the schools that end up opting in.
Now, I saw that, one of my favorite wrestlers and Sonny's favorite wrestlers is Yanni, and Yanni D immediately came out against it. Does it affect the Ivies different? Because
I think it will. The Ivies are kind of under like a whole different cap anyway. Remember, like when COVID happened, the Ivies, they weren't they didn't wrestle that 1 year, right? Like it was completely different. And now also the Ivies are going to have there's their own like separate conference tournament. So like normally the Ivies in wrestling are in the EIWA. All those Ivy League schools are no longer going to be part of the EIWA. They're going to be part of just their own Ivy League championship. So that's going to be different as well in the next year. But yeah, I think the Ivies, it'll definitely be different for them. And they're part of those schools also that even if it was like a blanket ruling where you could opt in, I highly doubt that the Ivies are opting into anything.
Yeah, I just just yesterday I saw like a clip of I think it was the University of Michigan where the campus police came in and in a meeting and called out this one kid, said, we had to take you in for this your conduct, and they gave him he was a walk-on. Like, we're not going to get any of those awesome videos anymore of the walk-ons, getting full rides. Man, where is, and I know this is just a crazy question to ask you, but I feel like the NCAA is going to it's just going to implode. I mean, it's gotten so out of hand that people don't know where college athletics and amateur athletics are headed.
The division, yeah, but I feel like the Division I level is becoming professionalized because it kind of has to, right? Like they're the money makers. They're the ones that we're going, for the most part. They're the 99% we're going to see in the professional ranks at some point. So they're going to start to professionalize them in some sort of way. And I think it's going to happen with women's basketball. It's going to happen with men's basketball. We're going to see it with football, obviously. So those will be like the big sports that it truly happens to, where they're going to start to really professionalize them, because with NIL, these players making, millions of dollars while they're still in college, all these things are going to be changing. So, I mean, hell, in football this year, football players, they're the quarterback and then one defensive player is going to have the green dot on their helmet this year. So there's certain teams are going to be using Apple, and certain teams are going to be using Microsoft in their helmets so that the coach can call plays in. So
wow,
professionalizing college sports it's going to happen. And I mean, I think it's the right way to go because you're seeing the talent and you're seeing all these things shift and change. But the other Division II and even like other like FCS teams, it's going to be hard for them to keep up, right? It's just going to be different. And, Division I is going to do what they do, and they're ahead of the curve. So things are going to change, but I don't think it changes the on-field product, because a lot of these things don't come down to on-field rules at all. They come down to marketing.
What could go wrong when we have Microsoft giving the plays? I mean, we could have
crowd strikes.
Yeah, we could have a crash, a web crash, and imagine that. That'd be crazy. But a lot of people don't know this, Ryan. When people talk about, oh, my kid got a scholarship to play tennis or even to play baseball, if you go down this list, it's kind of just shocking to see the limitations that they had. I mean, people don't understand that there's 43 wrestlers on a team and there's only 9.9 scholarships per year to go around. A lot of those kids, and Tony Ramos, he's the first to tell you that he went to Iowa on a 3% scholarship. They gave him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a book, and
that was it.
And so
he was an NCAA champion and a starter for a number of years.
Yeah. So when people say, "Oh yeah, I got a scholarship," I mean, this is just a game changer. I'm so glad that we had you on to talk about this, man, because I'm still don't know where this is headed, but people need to know that this is a big deal. And I mean, it's already, how it is, because you follow high school and wrestling. It is a grind. It's $1 billion business, youth sports, to try to get kids scholarships. And why I thought it was a positive, because there's more available. But if it cuts programs, and especially Olympic, which that they would be the first to go, I believe you when you say that, that's also a bad. So there's good and bad to this.
Yeah, because like I said, it comes down to funding, and if they can't fund the coaching staffs, because even within this, all this came out of the case that we talked about the last time I was on, the House versus NCAA case. All of the roster caps and stuff, they're all part of this, and none of these things are finalized yet. They still have to agree on all the terms. So even, between the last time I was on and this time, they haven't even agreed to all of the different terms. They're still ironing things out.
Yeah.
I believe Friday is where they're probably going to have everything completely ironed out, and we'll be looking to gain approval from all sides so that it can take hold in 2025, 2026. But like I said, it comes down to funding. And if they're trying to fund more than 85 scholarships on football. And then also in football, they now have unlimited coaching staffs in football as well. So the coaching staffs are going to get bigger. So they're going to need funding for that as well. So if they need funding for all these analyst jobs, because that's another thing, is within these unlimited coaching staffs, you can now be an analyst and coach the kids. So before, if you had a title of an analyst, you weren't allowed to coach. You were just allowed to be an analyst, to be in meetings and to discuss things with the head coach, but you weren't an on-field coach. Now you're going to have a QB1 analyst that literally just works with QB1, right? Like I'm being crazy about it, but like you're going to have more analysts that are now on the field. So like this is going to happen now. There's going to be a lot more money that's being spent. And I know I'm harping on football, but like, that's where this case came from. And that's what most people are going to think about, even though the person that brought the case, the person that's name is House in this, was a swimmer. Yeah. It really was focusing on these Power 5 at the time, now Power 4 conferences that had enough money to collectively bargain against the players, that kept them amateur with the ESPNs and the ABCs and the NBCs. And there's just, it's a web that's just continually being pulled apart.
Yeah,
so it'll be crazy though.
Crazy. Before we get into, I want to go with a quick breakdown of freestyle, and there's only 6 weights, so we can get through it pretty easy. I want to take a quick 3-minute break, and will you hang out with us and give us a little epic preview?
I'm coming. I'm here.
Thanks, man. We'll be right back, everybody. back, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. We have special guest Ryan Holmes on, and we just got finished talking about the NCAA new guidelines for scholarships and team caps. I hope you understood. I'm still a little bit confused, but it'll all work itself out. Thanks for hanging out. We want to talk because if you guys don't know, I mean, Ryan's a specialist and he can talk anything: basketball, football.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now
Yes.
I get
Are you sure?
it. Yeah, right.
I just feel like I can't hear anything. Okay, that's good.
That
Yeah,
was weird.
my fault.
So let's get into, I believe it starts the 8th, Olympic freestyle wrestling. And like I said, Ryan is probably one of his specialties. He's very well connected when it comes to wrestling.
You said it starts on the 8th?
I believe is it the 8th?
No, I think it's Monday, the 5th.
That seems like a long time.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Monday.
you know what? I might be
Monday.
saying, that might be Greco. I might be talking about.
You're talking freestyle, yeah.
Yes. That's
How long are the Olympics? That's a whole nother week.
yeah. It's just 2.5 weeks, correct?
Damn.
Yeah, it's from the 5th to the 11th is all wrestling. But I mean, the Olympics is long as hell, man. Like it actually started the day before the opening ceremony. It actually started.
Yeah. So
Damn.
crazy stuff. Let's get into it. 57 kilos, man.
Yeah.
And we all know Spencer Lee, the just the superstar that he is out of Iowa and Pennsylvania. Do we want to know who the favorite is? I mean, as far as seeds, I know there's 8 seeded wrestlers because you have to accumulate points and ranking series and stuff like that. But it doesn't always mean they're the favorites. And I wanted to go over 2 or 3 favorites. Obviously, you have Spencer Lee. You have the Darian Cruz, your homeboy, and from Puerto Rico. Steven Micic, the world champion from, was it last year?
Last year, yeah.
Wrestling for Serbia out of the University of Michigan. And did he go to Northwestern before that?
Yep, he was at Northwestern his freshman. Yeah. Well, the first year. Micic had a really long career where he took a couple Olympic red shirts and some other stuff. So yeah, he was in college for a while.
You know what? I saw this just crazy stat. I think the Micic and Anthony Valencia, and I saw this where they saw 3 presidents. And it's just freaking crazy, man. Because I know they had they had red shirts, Olympic red shirts, and also medical red shirts is how they did. Only them 2. I don't know how it's possible, but they saw 3 different presidents. So but Steven, man, it goes to show you, winning a world championship last year. And then you have the Penn State RBY wrestling for Mexico. How do you see this playing out?
By the way, just as a heads up, I have all the odds pulled up, so just let me know what weight class you're on, and I can.
There's
there's betting lines for these.
Wrestling.
Yeah, you can bet the gold medal winner.
I'm gonna be down like 10K by Saturday wrestling.
So like, get your notebooks out. We're about to have an expert break down these weight classes. How do you see 57 playing out?
57 is going to be pretty wild. Because on top of that, you also have the guy from Japan, Rei Higuchi, who is an amazing wrestler.
Yep.
That's who Micic beat in the World Finals last year. Micic, even though he is the top seed, he is the favorite. And I say even though because, like you said, you have to accumulate ranking series points. So it's not like, this is the best team. They're the number 1 seed. It's very different from a lot of other sports where you're going to ranking series tournaments and you accumulate these points and your points determine what your seed is going to be.
Yeah.
So, even though a guy is the number 1 seed, he's not particularly, like we'll see at, I think 97. He's not particularly the favorite.
Yes.
But I believe Micic is the favorite.
Number 2 in the rankings.
So they're the seeds. So you could be literally the best wrestler in the world and be dropped into the bracket because you didn't go to ranking series and accumulate these points, which get you your seeds, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was wondering because the favorite is Spencer Lee and Micic. Lee is plus 120 and Micic is plus 170.
Now,
well, Spencer Lee started at I think plus 700. or something like that. And
No one told me that.
everybody was just like hammering Spencer Lee. So he's
Holy
yeah, he was plus 700. But I mean, Spencer, we've waited a very long time to see Spencer on the senior level. He won multiple age level tournaments and then didn't wrestle freestyle once he got into college. So this is a huge deal to have him on the team for the first time, making his essentially it's his senior level debut. He's never wrestled in a major tournament outside of the qualifying tournament where he wrestled to make it to the Olympics. So
which he had a tough time. He had a couple matches.
He did. He had a tough semifinal. Everyone else he basically rolled up, but he had a tough semifinal. And I think that's why everybody really thinks that Spencer can win the Olympics in his first shot. He's amazing on his feet. He's got really great defense, and he's great with a gut wrench. Like he's got, really good moves on top. So I think that's where people are kind of banking on Spencer Lee. Plus, it's a lot of biased United States fans that are like, Spencer Lee is plus money. I'm gonna go hammer the Spencer Lee line right now. But it would be, like I said, it would be awesome to see those guys all on the podium.
What I'm excited about, and the thing, this is why I like Spencer in this tournament, is because he might only need one takedown. I mean, Higuchi might be he is quicker. RBY is quicker. He can go down 8-0, but if he takes you down, his lace is deadly, right? His top game, he could come back on you like that. But I gotta see RBY and Spencer Lee.
RBY is
see that
he is a dark horse right now, and I say that because this is the first time since he was 17, 18, coming out of high school, that he's wrestling this light. He wrestled 133. Yeah, so
1100.
Yeah, he's a dark horse in this, but his athleticism is what I think makes him the X factor and why people really have to watch out for him. He looked really good at Pan Ams. He did a really good job. I mean, obviously he made the finals to qualify for the Olympics at Pan Ams. So, I love RBY. He's another one of those kids I watched grow up in Arizona and work his way into being a truly mature wrestler. It's funny when he did his college commitment, him and Travis Whitlake sent me a text and said, "Hey, we want to do our college commitment right now." And I'm like, all right, I'll set up a video. And I was in my apartment. I was here in my apartment that I used to live in. And we did a Skype call, and RBY's playing video games the entire time as we're talking. And I'm like, after I watched it back, I was like, we got to redo this. Like, I can't have Cale Sanderson calling me up or getting you in trouble because you did your college commitment to Penn State and you were playing friggin' video games the entire time. So we redid it. And now he's, complete adult about every single thing that he does. And for the most part, he's still, little bit of a kid, but he's an awesome kid. And I hope he does well. I really love RBY as a wrestler, and seeing him mature in the sport has been amazing. But yeah, I think the weight cut is what's going to be the differentiator for him. Cause you got to remember it's 2 hours after they weigh in, they're wrestling. It's very different from from 2004 when I was talking to Jamil Kelly. He's like, we used to weigh in the day before. So it used to be day before weigh in for the Olympics 2004. And then they would wrestle the following day here. And it was only one day as well. So they would, balloon up. It was basically like UFC where they're weighing in the day before, wrestling at just one complete day. And that's it. Now you're 2 hour weigh in, you're weighing in both days, 2 hour weigh in, and you got to go compete. So that's the biggest thing I think for RBY, but he's done really well with shrinking his body down, getting his diet on, and being a really disciplined wrestler.
That's a great story, man.
I like
looking
the
out.
2 hour weigh-in thing.
You like the 2 hour? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to minimize.
It's the same as NCAA.
Yeah. I agree.
So Ryan, if you had to give your pick for the 57,
let's get your gold.
Let's get the wrestling guru some picks.
Yeah. My pick for this.
Don't be
Jacob got his pen out.
He's got his pen out. No, I am taking Spencer in this. He is unseeded, so very good chance that he'll have one of these top seeded guys. I don't know where he's going to be slotted into the bracket. All the brackets come out 24 hours before wrestling starts. So nobody has even seen any of the brackets yet. So, but he could very well be slotted in and hit Ray Higuchi very early. He could hit Miocic very early, right? So he can hit some of these guys early. And then, if he is in that half, you're most likely, if you're on the side with the top seed, going to have a little bit easier of a path. And I say easier in quotes because it's the freaking Olympics, right? Like these guys are no slouch. So,
Exactly.
but no, I mean, maybe it is a little bit of a bias, but with his ability, with his defensive ability, his ability to take people down and turn guys on top, that's really hard to beat. It is the trifecta. And you're not seeing a lot of guys, Miocic included, who are taking guys down and turning them on top. He didn't have any turns in the world finals last year. He beat Higuchi with one takedown of his own and then 2 defensive takedowns. So it's, it's going to be very hard to get to Spencer, even more so now that he has more of that senior level experience under his belt with the number of tournaments he's wrestled in this past year.
Yeah. I'm going to have to agree with you there. Shout out to Darian Cruz. Get on that podium, man. Represent Puerto Rico and Lehigh. Let's get into 65, which the United States has had major issues for a very long time. Some would say maybe the most difficult or maybe most wide open weight. We have Zane Train, Penn State. That was a battle even to get the spot, and then even more of a battle to qualify. He had a rough road, lost early, got pulled back in repechage and qualified. You have Sebastian Rivera, our boy out of New Jersey, baby. He's there. I think world silver medalist last year.
World silver last year, yeah.
Austin Gomez from Iowa State, University of Michigan. He's a highlight reel representing Mexico. Musakev, you have the Iranian. Man, this is a tough weight. Yeah. What Eddie Money? What 65 kilos? Give us some breakdown of some odds here.
So the head runner is Musakev from Hungary at plus 150.
Yeah.
You have, I think it's pronounced Amuzad
from Iran.
Yeah, plus 380. Sebastian Rivera, Puerto Rico, plus 460.
Woo!
Zane Rutherford from America at plus 500. And then you have Tevin Yan from, I think it's Armenia, plus 650.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see it breaking down?
Musakayev is incredible. It's funny because Musakayev is Russian. I mean, if you can't tell by the name, he might represent Hungary, but there's a lot of Russians in here that have moved countries, and he's one of them. He was the champion last year. He rolled up Sebastian Rivera in the finals of Worlds, and he's the toughest to beat. He's just, he is the guy. So rightfully so, he's the returning world champ. But this weight has been our curse. It really has been.
Yeah.
We haven't had a medal at 65 I honestly don't think we've had a medal at 65 since the weight class has been 65. I'm trying to
we haven't had a representation in like 3 Olympics, I think. The last 3.
We had so Jamil was 66 and he took bronze in 04. The next year was Schwab in 08, and Schwab was actually the last guy to qualify the weight for himself. So there had been no other guy outside of that, because the year before that was Bono that qualified the weight for Jamil in 2004. Schwab qualified the weight by placing 7th in the world the year before, and that was enough criteria for him to qualify at 66 the following year. And then 2012 we had Freyer, who I don't think he qualified. No, Metcalf qualified the weight that year.
That's right.
In 2012. 16, Frank Molinaro was the representative, but he was also the alternate. So he didn't qualify the weight. Somebody was hurt or disqualified or something. I can't remember what it was, but he was the alternate. and then in 2021 it was Jo, and he came 1 point away from qualifying the weight for the Olympics. So
That match
with,
haunts me still.
with the Pico Molinaro match where
No, the Jo match. When he,
Jo match, yeah,
that was
like,
tough.
that was
Yeah.
his weight to have, and he
So many heartbreaks at 65.
yeah. So it's been a curse for us for quite some time, and I honestly think that Jamil was the last medalist that we had that was even in that 65, 66 range. So I think Zane can medal. I don't know if he can win, but I think he can medal. Like I was saying, for RBY at 57, his athleticism is out of this world. That's where Zane falters, right? Zane isn't the athletic guy. He's the blue collar guy, right? He's gonna grind you up, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna lay bricks and lay cement all day. Like that's the kind of guy that you're gonna have when it comes to Zane Rutherford. But I do think he can medal. What I saw from Zane at the qualifier is what gave me the confidence to think he can medal and do very, very well. And I think that he either gets a Gomez early or a Sebastian Rivera early, with Rivera having the qualification points. I got to look at the seeds. I have the seeds in front of me.
Their odds on Austin Gomez.
Well, can you bet to medal, or is it only to win?
I only see gold medal winner.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they have anything else.
I would hammer to medal like all over the place.
Yeah,
I'm just the one dark horse.
Austin Gomez is plus 7,500.
Plus 7. That's
gold.
the Austin is so different than anybody else, and you saw what he did to Nick Lee in Mexico. Man, he can go on a crazy run, and his style is so different. That upper body that you only see in certain styles in certain countries.
yeah.
Does he have a shot in hell in this at plus 7,500, man? Man, I put $20 on that.
That's the thing, is you haven't seen him against these guys yet, right? Like you don't know how he fares against a Musakayev. You don't know how he fares against Haji Aliyev as well. Haji Aliyev is another guy, perennial guy from Azerbaijan that has been at the top for years. He's the 6th seed. So, but Haji Aliyev has also taken losses to Americans. He lost to Jo, I believe beat the Streets. He lost to Alirez at an international tournament a couple of years ago. Yeah. So, these guys have been in these ranks for a very long time. 65 is tough. It is really tough. I take Musakayev. That's who I would be betting on if it was me. I would take Musakayev, and not just because he's the returning champ, because Musakayev is that dude. Man.
He's that
he's that dude. And it's if somebody beats Musakayev, I will be very shocked. He's the 3 seed anyway, right? Yeah. So he's not even the top seed.
Yeah,
but like at plus 150.
Yeah. So I take Musakayev, but this weight is pretty wide open. I do think Zane is in the mix to medal. Haji Aliyev, another guy that's in the mix to medal. Okir from Mongolia, he's your 8th seed. He could probably do maybe a little something. Sorry to say that I don't know if Sebastian Rivera catches lightning in a bottle again. I shouldn't say it that way, but like his semifinal last year, he scored with like 2 seconds left on a turn to win, right? So like great performance. I don't know if he can duplicate it, right? Yeah. And not for nothing, but like I think, and I don't even think, who did we have at 65 last year? I don't even know who we had. Might have been Yanni.
Was it? I can't remember who didn't qualify.
I can't remember. Might have been Yanni. Might have been
Nick Lee or Zane. Maybe might have been.
Actually, I think it was Nick Lee last year. Yeah, because Nick Lee was the guy. Yeah, Nick Lee. It was Nick Lee last year because we sent our world's representatives to Pan Am's.
That's right.
So yeah, but I honestly think that Zane is a terrible matchup for Austin Gomez. He's a terrible matchup for Sebastian Rivera. I think he could have Sebastian Rivera right out of the gate because he's not seeded and Rivera seeded 4th. So he could be right there in that tier with Rivera.
Well, that's your prediction on 65. Musakayev plus 150. Let's go to my favorite weight class, 74. I have a special interest in that. But I think by far and away, because Sidikov from the Russia retired, is now going to the MMA, which I've heard, and I can't wait to see that. I'm hoping that happens soon. But Kyle Dake, I believe, what's the odds on Kyle Dake? This is the year for Kyle Dake to finally bring home the gold.
He's
probably
minus 550.
Yeah, I thought so.
You didn't win it last time.
No,
He lost to Sidikov.
Yeah,
He took a bronze though, right?
he came back.
He won silver. He was silver at Worlds last year, but he was bronze at the Olympics.
No, yeah, the bronze
yeah,
the Olympics. I meant.
Yeah.
At the Olympics, he lost to Kadi Magomedov, who is back in. This weight has been absolutely insane over the last couple of weeks.
Magomedov?
Khabib's brother? Oh shit.
Cousins,
Yeah.
probably cousins. But,
Probably.
So who's the second favorite? Anybody? Who's second?
Probably Sabalov.
Yeah. Just says UZB as their country.
Uzbekistan.
Oh, Uzbekistan. Who is that?
I don't know.
No,
that's Zamalov.
You said the
Yeah.
name. I just didn't know how to say
What's Dick's
Yeah,
on?
yeah. That's Zamalov.
it. It's 550.
Minus 550.
So
I mean,
if bro loses this, he fumbled the bag.
you know, I've been following him. He seems very loose, right? He's doing his social media thing, which his personality's coming out. I think he's loose. This is I mean, knock on wood, he brings it home. And I mean, what do you think it's just a conclusion? It's coming home with to the Finger Lakes.
I don't know. And I have all kinds of confidence in Dake. He would have to beat the guy that he lost to at the last Olympics, Kadi Magomedov, who is now back in. So this weight has been kind of crazy. So for the entire Olympics, they deemed a bunch of wrestlers ineligible, both men and women, who had ties to the Russian government. So they haven't been able to travel at all. So like Sadulayev at 97, Sadulayev is one of the best wrestlers in the world. He wasn't able to travel at any of the rankings tournaments either. So like he couldn't do anything over this last year. But there were a number of guys. Sidikov is another one of those guys that I guess has ties to the Russian government, I guess, from whatever the IOC found, and isn't allowed to wrestle at the Olympics. So with that, insert guys like Chamizo, who trains in the United States but represents Italy. And then over this last, what's that?
From Cuba.
Cuba, yeah.
He was, but wrestles for Italy.
Wrestles for Italy, yeah. He was a national. He was a world champ as a Cuban. Starting at like 55 kilos back then too.
Just so much fun to watch.
Number 4 favorite, by the way.
Yeah, he's a problem, but Dake has beaten him a number of times. I mean, there's been a bunch of guys from the United States that have beaten Chamizo at this point a number of times. But
he looks older. He has a little pot belly now. He's never been that guy. But to me, it's no matter what, it's going to be entertaining, and he's always fun to watch.
Listen, Chamizo is one of those guys, like we were talking about the medals before and what people get when they win medals. Chamizo being in Italy, and he defected to Italy because I believe his wife or something is Italian. So that's why he moved to Italy when he did. But he's like completely set up in Italy, like tons of money.
That's awesome.
He's got like a Nike deal, so he's getting shoes like crazy, like whatever he wants. So like Chamizo's one of those guys that he like winning medals, they just throw money at him, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So he's a problem though because he's a really unorthodox wrestler. Dake should be the favorite. When and everybody was saying, well, the weight class is kind of whitewashed. It really isn't. It's really deep weight class. It really is deep. Sabalov was just added to the field, I want to say last week. And then maybe a couple days before that, Kadi Magomedov, who was initially ruled ineligible, he's now back into the tournament too. Sabalov was another one of those guys who was ineligible that is back in the tournament. So those are two guys, along with Chamizo, that could really contest with Dake if at all. Kyle Cotty being the number one guy that could probably contest with Dake because he beat Dake at the last Olympics. But Dake was also dealing with an injury at the last Olympics, so he didn't look himself too. But I think Dake is on a mission. His father passed away shortly before the trials, so he's been on an absolute mission ever since then. And he's in good spirits, which looks awesome. Those guys are having fun in Normandy. They're not even in Paris yet because they go to Paris for opening ceremonies, and then they left to go to Normandy to train. It's like 3 hours away, so they've been on in some beach town in Normandy, just like training for the last week and a half.
Very cool. Well, let's move on to 86 kilograms, which a lot of controversy in the United States, for our representative. That set a whole thing in motion with David Taylor. Now was the favorite, probably, might have been the favorite to win gold at the Olympics, but doesn't get Aaron Brooks. Fair and square beats him. Zahid Valencia. Shout out to Monster Garage, by the way. Wearing my Sun-Kissed Monster Garage shirt. Zahid, couple bad calls. He's not the representative. You have Yazdani, one of my favorite wrestlers to watch ever since he beat Aaron Pico. Another shout out to Bosco in cadet worlds. I believe I've been watching Yazdani since then. Ethan Ramos, UNC alum and Puerto Rican representative. You have as Azerban. How do you see this? Yeah, exactly. A lot of
a lot of V's and Z's in these.
Yeah, a lot of V's and Z's in this weight class. Yazdani's the favorite at -180.
Really?
And then Aaron Brooks is the second at +135. And then it's a major shoot up to the third. Nurmagomedov.
Yes.
Plus
Nurmagomedov,
yeah.
There you go.
So it's basically just between Yazdani and Brooks.
I mean, Yazdani known for that crazy gas tank, and I think but I mean, Aaron Brooks is doing everything right. He's training, eating, breathing, sleeping. I think he's gonna be ready. How do you see this breaking down?
Man, I want to see Aaron Brooks win so badly because I love that kid. He's another one of those kids that I've known since he was 15, 14 years old. And he was actually David Taylor. So the last time him and David Taylor trained together was the Olympics when David won.
That's right.
He was David's training partner, and he had to simulate Yazdani for David. So that's that. So he's been studying Yazdani since back then because of the underhook that Aaron Brooks uses. Aaron Brooks obviously has a number of ways to score on people. He's probably one of the most dynamic guys on the entire team, to be completely honest. But I can't, until he proves it, I can't be my biased self and say that he will beat Yazdani. Because Yazdani is amazing. As Iranians love to say, Yazdani the greatest.
Eddie Money is literally the Michael Jordan.
He's LeBron James
he's Michael Jordan and LeBron James of Iran.
James.
The dude is
how old is he?
God, he has to be
20s, right?
28.
He's like 20 something. Yeah,
he's like Miami LeBron right now.
He is the dude in Iran. And he's charismatic. Everyone loves him. I mean, I'm not just talking about Iranians. I mean, Sonny idolizes him. The guy's just a mega superstar. But David Taylor had figured him out and beat him the last 3-4 times that they saw each other.
Yeah, they had a serious rivalry. There were a number of times. And the funny thing about it is what was it? David beat him at the Olympics, and then Yazdani beat David at Worlds that following year. So they've gone back and forth a number of times. When David beat him, it was unexpected because it was David's first time on the senior level. So it kind of came out of nowhere, and it was a huge win. And then after that, it was just David just kind of owns him, and Yazdani has gotten him once or twice since then. But like I said, I wanna see Aaron Brooks do well. I feel like we're gonna see a Miles Amin Aaron Brooks match in there. Yeah, Miles Amin is he was bronze. He's been bronze for the last couple of times. So he's been right there, but he's also been getting smashed by David Taylor, right? Like he was in the bronze. I think he was bronze at the last Olympics too. So
He did. And if you guys don't know, the Amin family out of this little tiny island in San Marcos is
San Marino.
San Marino.
Yeah.
Yes, just a wrestling family, just a G, but always had Zahid and baby Marquis in his weight class, could never break through at the NCAAs, but just a freaking awesome family, awesome wrestler. Give me the odds again on Yazdani, Brooks, and Amin, if you can. You said Yazdani's the clear favorite.
Yeah.
And
Yazdani's minus 180, Brooks is plus 135, and then it goes to plus 2,900, plus 3,300.
wow,
Huge jump.
That's a
huge jump.
I got a question. What's like more looked upon in wrestling, winning worlds or winning the Olympics?
Olympics.
I don't know, man. That's
a for sure.
I have
Olympics.
to assume the Olympics just because it's every 4 years, but
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
It's the Olympics, definitely. Because when Taylor beat Yazdani to win Worlds, it was a big deal. And then when he beat him for the Olympics, it was an even bigger deal because I believe Yazdani had won the Olympics beforehand. So it was like a really big deal because he was going for another one. And I mean, they, obviously when you're a multiple time world champ, they throw that out there. It's a very big deal, but the Olympics is just very different.
Plus the Olympics now they've gotten rid of what? 2 weight classes? No, in the world you have what? 8, 10. 10.
Oh,
and then
so
the
it's more
Olympics,
condensed.
you're dealing with guys jumping up and down because you only have 6 weight classes. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Great question, Eddie Money. Let's go to 97 kilos. We have your American hero, Kyle Snyder.
The odds are similar to like the last weight class. It's just the first 2, and then it takes a big bump to the third.
Yeah.
And kind of a bummer because Sedulayev and Snyder, maybe other than Taylor and Yazdani, maybe the best rivalry in wrestling, and Sedulayev, maybe the best wrestler in the world. Would you agree with that? I mean, just an incredible.
I don't think they've ever seen Mr. Santiago off 10 beers.
Yes, my single leg is wicked. But how do you see that playing out?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks that Sadulayev won't be there. But I mean, you got to remember Sadulayev was also hurt at the last Worlds and didn't medal. And he lost to the eventual champion Tazudinov, who also beat Snyder. So Tazudinov beat he beat Snyder and then he beat Sadulayev to make the finals. And then Sadulayev and Snyder were supposed to wrestle for bronze. Sadulayev defaulted out of the tournament because of a neck injury, and they literally flew him home to Russia, and he was in surgery the next day on his neck. So it does suck that he's not going to be in there, but this, Tazudinov versus Snyder is huge, very big deal. You can say, Magomedov, who was silver last year from Azerbaijan, but he was on the other side of the bracket. The side of the bracket that was the murderer's row was the side that had Snyder, Tazudinov, and Sadulayev on it. And, Magomedov was able to just kind of walk to the finals, essentially. He didn't really have a lot of competition on that side. So
just for reference, Tazudinov is minus 180 and Snyder's plus 150, and then Magomedov's plus 1,200.
Yeah.
Nice.
So no surprise there. Because Tazudinov he put it on Snyder last time they wrestled. So no surprise that he would be the favorite in this weight class. But I think Snyder gets it done this time around because Tazudinov is now on his radar. I feel like people knew that Tazudinov was good, but didn't know he was good enough and that he was going to come out against Snyder the way that he did. And that, that's shocking. That's a really tough hole to climb out of. And, so I think this time Snyder gets to Tazudinov. The only thing that sucks is that they're on the same side of the bracket because Tazudinov is 2nd seed and Snyder is 3rd seed. So they're going to be on the same side of the bracket. So they'll see each other in the semis.
Sounds good. Now let's finish off with the big boys. 125 kilos. Gable Stevenson didn't, I guess, retired, hung up the shoes. Is he still with Buffalo, by the way? I know
he's the Buffalo Bill, man. He is
there?
a football player. He's still there.
That's awesome. But one of the greatest Olympic matches
You gotta
ever.
get that jersey.
Yeah. That's freaking cool. But Mason Paris, man, just he's always been a superstar, right? But it seems to have gotten better year after year after year. The size, the athleticism. What are the odds here, Eddie Money, on the heavyweights?
So we got Zaire at minus 180, and then Paris at plus 250. And then you got Agul from Turkey plus 600.
What a Petravili.
He's plus 650 right after.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Because he's the world champ, I thought.
So, well, Zari is. So Zari, he won gold last year.
That's right.
And everyone was waiting to see Gable wrestle Zari. Everybody wanted to see that because they have never wrestled. Mason Paris has wrestled Zari. He actually pinned him in the Junior World Finals. But that's the last time that they wrestled. Since then, Zari has, really jumped levels, and you've seen him jump levels. And Zari beat Petriashvili at Worlds last year. So Petriashvili was the runner-up. Paris has been kind of a perennial third, bronze medalist for the last couple of years with a lot of these things. So that's why I think this year, I hope that Paris is able to get past Agul and Petriashvili. I'm pretty sure. So Agul and Petriashvili, they were the guys to beat over the last, however many years. Every single world championship, it was Agul and Petriashvili meeting in the finals, and then they introduced the ranking series and seeds for worlds and Olympics, and they ended up on the same side of the bracket, and they would hit each other in the semis, which opened things up.
Nice.
So that's where things have really changed. But Zari is a beast, man. He is an absolute beast. It's gonna take some sticks of dynamite to beat that dude for real.
Circle that one, baby. Circle that one.
Yeah, but I mean, Agul and Petriashvili, they've been in the game for a very long time. They're perennial medalists. But Zari has just been on top for the last couple of years. This will be his first. I think it's his first Olympics. Maybe might be his second. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think he may have been in the bracket when. Yeah, he was in the bracket when Gable won gold. But he lost, I believe, to Petriashvili on the way to the finals. So he's really jumped levels, and he's avenge a lot of those losses that he had before. Now he's the champ. So I'm honestly surprised that they have Paris where they have him, at least in the lines, because of Petriashvili and Agul being, the guys that they are, but they are up there in age. They're the vets in this. This is probably going to be it for them. I don't see them wrestling past this quad.
What are they, like mid-30s?
Yeah, something like that. They're
different. They hang around a little bit longer.
A little bit longer, yeah. They're probably a little bit closer to 40, but yeah.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah. Well, there's your Olympic freestyle breakdown. Thank you. I can't wait. I'm putting some money on that, man. We are betting on that. So
you wanna do it just real quick, Ryan?
Yeah.
Well, I'll run through every weight class real quick, just for like an easy clip. Yeah. And then you give us who you think will win.
Yep.
So men's freestyle, 57 kilos.
Spencer Lee's
at plus 120. And then 65.
65, Musakayev.
Plus 150. 74.
Kyle Dake for that one. That's for sure.
Kyle Dake is minus 550. So make sure to pull out a mortgage to win some money for that one. You got the 86.
86. Give me Yazdani.
Minus
much as I want to see Aaron Brooks do his thing, I got to go with Yazdani until Brooks proves it.
That's fair. Yeah, he's minus 180. And then you got 97 keys.
Kyle Snyder. I was there when he won his first senior level world title in Vegas as the youngest world champion ever, and I think he's going to do it again.
You got him at plus 150, and then to round it off at 125.
Zari. He's a beast, man. Like I said, it's going to take a stick of dynamite to beat that dude. So bring your green hat if you're going to be taking on Zari.
Bring your little kazoo. Iran. It's going to be freaking awesome.
Minus 180.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Ryan, for that. Oh, it's pumped up for that. That starts the 8th, I believe. So
you think there's going to be lines for each individual match?
I hope so.
I doubt
I
it.
need like
I don't know.
plus 2.5, plus 2.5,
Yeah.
like minus 3.5. Like I need point spreads.
How far away?
Ooh, I,
I
didn't
mean,
even think
that'd
of
be
that.
badass.
how
Nuts.
far away are we in that for NCAA tournament? Like, when are we gonna get lines on that?
There are lines for NCAAs.
Is there?
Yep.
Man,
Yeah.
we got to get on that. So, last topic in the group chat yesterday, I got a lot of heat, but I have a little far out there take 10
Little.
listen, we all saw this. It's regarding Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers. If you guys haven't seen it yet, there's a little scuffle with Wilson.
There's two. There's two.
There's two of them.
Separate videos.
Yes, with Wilson and Aaron Rodgers kind of getting into it, and Brees Hall telling him to relax and breathe. And then you add that with the golf tournament and Aaron Rodgers saying, can't wait to play with Devontae again. He made it sound like it was very soon. Now,
Wasn't that referencing the golf tournament? Wasn't he playing with him that day?
I don't think he was referencing
He's
the
got
golf
exposed,
tournament.
bro.
No. Everything that Aaron Rodgers done is very calculated and cryptid. There's no way he was talking about can't wait to play with them soon.
Did they
golf?
Did they play that day?
I don't
golfing?
know. Listen, this doesn't help my tinfoil.
I think they played that day. I don't know.
Yeah, you're cooked.
Let's hear it though.
But
It's so
this
bad.
is what I'm
What do you
saying.
think it
Listen,
is?
he didn't show up for OTAs, which a lot of people were pissed off about. He's supposed to be all in. A year before, I do believe that he wanted to be with the Raiders, but Ziegler, chose to go with Jimmy Garoppolo. Great move on that. Those two want to play together, and everyone assumes that DA is going to get traded and go to the Jets. Now, it's already in camp. The Raiders are struggling at QB. No one's taken over. Why not go after Aaron Rodgers right now and bring him to Vegas, back to the West Coast, and reunite him with Devontae Adams?
Ryan's laughing.
Listen, I said it was a little out there, but doesn't mean I'm completely wrong.
No, you're completely wrong. Like, it's not even a percentage of a chance it's going to happen.
I'm saying there's. So you're saying there's a chance?
No, I said
No,
0%. I said 0% chance.
You don't think he's being a little bit difficult in New York? You don't think he's being?
Of course he is, but
He's
who
like a
he
perfectionist.
They're gonna get rid of Wilson before they would get rid of Rodgers. If that is to happen, if they're going to play, they'll be wearing green again together, not black and silver.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Please,
I'm telling you right now.
I wanted to
And
punch him in the face.
and
for
right
even
now,
saying it.
I would trade Devontae Adams for Garrett Wilson.
I
Yeah,
do
100%
not
I would.
agree with that.
I
How?
would. Why would you not?
Skill level, they're still a tier apart.
But he's so much younger.
Yeah.
And he's
Who
a-
are you giving to?
I
Who are
told
the Raiders giving to the Jets to get
Yeah.
Rodgers?
Please tell Ryan.
What's
Okay, I said it.
What's the
Please
trade
tell
for-
Ryan your trade package.
Okay,
Yeah, the Raiders to get Aaron Rodgers.
and I have reasoning behind it. I
It's
would
so
give
bad, Ryan. It's-
both AOC and Minshew.
What the fuck?
Because here's
Minshew has zero.
What? Have no room?
Minshew?
and I would give up a first and a second round pick on top of that. And here is why. Listen, the Jets were this close to making the playoffs with maybe the worst quarterback. Okay. Minshew would be serviceable and get the Jets to the playoffs. Okay.
But you have Aaron Rodgers.
Listen, coming off 40 years old, coming off an Achilles, and being difficult as F.
He's not being
They
difficult.
knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
He's not being
You're trying
difficult.
to tell me that-
100% being difficult.
You're trying to tell me they didn't know
Okay.
that Aaron Rodgers was gonna be difficult?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, listen, he was unhappy in the small town, right? He said, I wanted to go to a bigger. He was just unhappy over there. Now he's showing that he's not the happiest dude in New York.
That's
He's not happy anywhere.
I think you'd be happy in Las Vegas, man, is what I'm trying to say.
I don't think he can be happy anywhere. And him and that coach would be oil and friggin' water, and you know it.
That shit would not make sense.
shit would
That
not
would not make sense whatsoever. him and Robert Saleh, they're all good. They smooth everything over. Everything's good with them. But like, there's no way he's going to Vegas. Your best bet is for DA to head to the Jets because you can get rid of Garrett Wilson. You can send Garrett Wilson and one other guy and a pick to the Raiders. And the Raiders would be like, all right, we'll take your first round pick next year and Garrett Wilson, and you get DA, and that's the package that they would end up getting.
Yeah, I would love that package.
That'd be a great.
See, this
and I love Devontae Adams.
See, we're pushing this, man. We got to get this out into
but that's
universe.
a more feasible thing, though.
Listen,
that's way more feasible than saying Aaron Rodgers would be in Vegas. If they're going to play together,
a quarterback. Ryan is my point. I need a quarterback.
You're not going to get one.
Yeah,
you're not going to get one this year.
Yeah, why would us trading our whole quarterback room for them to give up a immensely better quarterback anyway work?
Because I told
why
you
would they take it though? Why would they take that deal
with Minshew?
Why would they even pick up the phone?
Because Aaron Rodgers would force it. That's why.
How? What?
He has no control of the situation.
Aaron Rodgers has control in every situation, and he shows it. And he does it all the time.
You realize it's way easier to get DA out of Vegas.
Yeah,
I do realize that. But it doesn't.
After the hits he took last year, he was. I mean, if you watch Receiver on Netflix, he was saying, "I gotta get out of here before I die."
100%.
Yeah, I was like, at that point, I was like, trade him. Like, he doesn't want to be here. Obviously, like,
no,
get
he
him
did.
out of the room.
He likes Las Vegas.
I'm sure he does.
He hated the offense.
He likes Las Vegas though because of like the family aspect. Like,
yes,
like his kids can like be outside the whole year.
He loves Vegas. That's why I'm saying I don't think DA wants to leave Las Vegas.
He would leave for a championship and playing with a quarterback that's not going to get his head taken off. And you know that in a second.
Well, he did leave with the chance to. He said Audi 5000. He left for
but he knew
a
Rodgers
bag
was
of
gonna
money,
leave.
and he
left because he knew Rodgers was going to leave. That's true. He didn't know what Jordan Love was going to be, and he's kind of hinted at on podcasts. He was like, "If I would have known Jordan Love would have been this good, you know, like maybe I would have stayed." That's basically what he was saying on those podcasts.
Yeah.
But he reeled it back and was like, you know, I still would have redone my decisions like if I had to do it over again.
All right, you guys happy? You guys made me feel stupid.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm still going with it.
I needed this to put in like public lighting.
The worst thought though is that like, he was convinced like his first thought was, oh my god, he's.
I've been saying it for. No. Listen, I've been saying this for how long with Aaron Rodgers?
Okay, but that was when. But now it's not possible, and you are still on it, and it makes no sense.
Listen,
Aaron Rodgers is a difficult human, dude. That's just what it is. It comes with it's a package deal. Him, darkness retreats, ayahuasca, and difficulty. That's just Aaron Rodgers.
I even had a better theory. I mean, it made more sense before they named the host of Jeopardy. I thought he'd play in Vegas. We get him, and he'd do shows on the weekend or on Wednesdays on his day off and do Jeopardy. That's what he really wanted to do.
And you think he's difficult now? Let him be a friggin' host.
Yeah,
he was great on Jeopardy.
He was good. He was actually mad he didn't get that job.
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you.
This is not as bad though, Ryan. Did you know that he was sending Raider fan pages rumors that were his own rumors of Tom Brady wanting to come to the Raiders so that they would post it and Tom Brady would see it?
Dude, listen, that's my job. I got to get that in the universe. I'm still listen, you saw the Shannon Sharp podcast with Devontae Adams. Sharp couldn't get the words out of his mouth before DA said, yes, I would definitely play with Tom Brady. And Tom Brady hasn't got the share. They still haven't approved. He's not 5% owner yet. That's my other fallback.
Because he's a broadcaster.
I'm telling you, well, that as well. But I think Tom Brady's going to come back, man.
No, he's not.
He's not.
He's like 44 or 45.
He's up there, but he's not coming back.
Don't matter, man.
Gotta let it go.
Not with that offensive line in Vegas.
Oh, easy. We just missing a right tackle, man.
That's what you're missing? Just it?
Just the right tackle. Yeah. Well, guys, thanks, Ryan, for joining us. I hope you guys had fun poking fun at me. Episode 90. Eddie Money, any last words?
I'm just glad we got your theory in public space now.
Akatomi Plaza.
I'm gonna lose a lot of money gambling on wrestling.
Also, I do hope there is wrestling per match, and then I'm just gonna ask you guys for every single match.
That'd be so great.
Oh, it's gonna be great. Ryan, any last words? How can people get a hold of you? Where can we see your podcast? Let us know the rundown.
Yeah, so there's a couple different podcasts that I'm host on. One is the Athletes podcast that'll be out on Friday this week. The other one is actually out right now. That's the Intermat Wrestling podcast. We did a full breakdown, Greco, women, and men's freestyle, full Olympic breakdown, plus a couple of rumors in there. So one about Mr. AJ Ferrari and where he might be going, and then some other things that are happening in there on this week's show. And if you need me, you can get me on Twitter, Instagram, Mr._R Holmes on both. And that's about it, man. Love being on the show. Always love coming on here, poking at you guys. I need Rafa to be on more when I'm here, though.
Yes, 100%. We're going to get you on with Rafa. Go pick up that fire sweatshirt, right? I promise I will get that sweatshirt out to you, to Austin, as soon as I can. And thanks again, guys. Episode 90, Two Nobodies with the Mic. Thank you guys for joining us. We love you, man.